for so many guys, I think there's two different camps. There are the guys who are aware, like, I don't want to be doing this, but I do it anyway. And then there's the guys who create this story that they
Right.
are that this is what they want. I do want this. This is I have an exaggerated sex drive. That's why, and they're basically trying to make up a narrative that's going to justify it so that they can feel better about themselves, so they don't have to go into the I'm the bad guy. Do you find both of these different camps can get the healing? Is there any preference either way? Some guys who they insist that they have this exaggerated sex drive, I think if they do start to unpack the trauma narrative, maybe they can start to understand the past and how it affects the present. You think, is that possible?
I find denial a lot like interesting. I find it pretty interesting. In the stories of the guys that come in and they're just really broken by their own behavior and they're ready to do work, and they always do really well in our program. But it's the guys that come in the kind of at the end of a shotgun barrel, and they said, I'm really only here because I have to be, and because there was some intervention in my family, or my wife said if I don't come then we're going to get a divorce, and I don't really want to do that. And those stories are powerful too, because it doesn't take a lot of discussion to arrive at the idea that the behaviors that you are choosing to deal with the stressors and the relationship conflicts in your life, it lacks a linear logic to it. Like you said, like, oh, I have a difficult relationship with my spouse, or I have stress at work, or I don't like my parents. So I should probably go sleep with, 2 or 3 prostitutes a week. That's probably the way that this is going to be handled for me, right? And it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to say, you're in denial, man. This is not healthy behavior. This is not someone who has an exaggerated sex drive, right? And let's examine some of these narratives that you're putting over this, right? And let's see if they hold up to scrutiny. And 2 things happens there. One, we can use the trauma narrative that we tease out with them from their own experiences to show them how addiction has created a mirror of their trauma in their relationship. I've cultivated this person who's either really mean to me in my perception or really cold to me in my perception, which really lines up with my trauma, right? My parents were vacant, or my parents were dangerous or abusive, or I was in a relationship with an abuser, or whatever. And can't you see how that addiction has cultivated this other person to respond to you that way, so that now you have a narrative to keep your addiction alive? And okay, well, if I'm not going to get my needs met, then I'm going to go get them met over here, which is really no different than the story of your childhood, right? So there's that. And then the second part is that when you're sitting in a group of men and you're explaining these behaviors, and more than half of them are there distraught about those same behaviors, it doesn't take very long for the other men in the group and the other clinicians to just kind of allow the insanity of the behaviors to be the its own argument. A lot of guys that are stuck in denial can really go into one-on-one therapy and be stuck there for a really long time, because all they have to say is, oh, this therapist doesn't get it, they don't really understand me, oh, they're full of it. But the thing about group therapy is you get 8 or 9 guys in the room and you're all chopping it up, and you may disagree with the therapist, but now you're finding yourself in disagreement with the other 8 guys in the room, and you have to really think, wait, are they all dumb, or maybe am I in the wrong here, right? And that's a little chunk of what I like to call objective reality, right? It's not just a disagreement with the therapist, it's, wait, maybe I'm way off base here. So the program that as it's developed over the years has become kind of a really great denial breaker,